The property lane where it's everything real estate. My name is Catherine Nanteza and I'm your host tonight. And tonight we are hosted again at Arkwright Projects by our senior in the real estate industry, none other than Mr. Kamgisha Anatoli. Please say hi to our...
Hi, love yours.
Today we will be discussing, still continuing on that topic of land evictions and housing policy. We want to look at the housing policy. I know some people in real estate haven't even heard of it. Some have heard of it but haven't taken the time to go through it. Others have looked at it, but when it comes to implementation, they don't follow it. Well, Mr. Anatoli will be taking us through the housing policy. What's the housing policy? Do we have a housing policy?
Anyway, policy is not consolidated. It's not a one. It's not. We don't have a national housing policy to say, because some policies are there, but they are staccato. They concentrate in urban centers. They don't relate with the rural and what. So at the end of the day, and everything has not been because the policy they are using is that they were just all responding to their old culture, where the culture is that.
In other words, you're saying we have a housing policy?
I'm saying it's a scattered one, which is, I said, staccato policy, because it's not coordinated. Okay. That's why now in Uganda, it is very easy to build your hotel in a place next to a factory. You can build a factory next to a house. Next to a place of worship. You can put a factory anywhere in the middle of anywhere. That's why now when I say, where is the industrial center, old town for Uganda?
Well, we have different industrial parks
you see,
in
you call
different places.
You call them industrial, but in other areas, when you go to China, they are going to say this is an industrial city for this, they produce this. This is for this is for that. That's why now you see many factories scattered everywhere. You can't know them. They don't have a proper location where you can find them in one so that they can synergize each other. So that's why I'm saying there is no policy per se. Because if there is a policy, the policy should be born from a national master physical development plan. Because you see, when you talk about a policy is born by when you have made a national master physical development plan. The word master physical development is a very big statement. It means now you are considering all the land in the country. You have planned it according to how it's supposed to be used.
Okay.
Land for housing, residential housing, land for industrial housing, land for forest, land for wetland, land for schools, land for, so that everything has where to fall. Then when you have zoned it, then we call it zoning, because master planning, you start with zoning. Then after zoning, then that zoning you concentrate in going into details by saying if this has been planned as a residential estate, it means we need to see only houses. We needed to see things that match with housing, like you can have a school, a nursery school, you can have a shopping center, because those relate. You get me? But again, you can't have a residential area and you find there a factory.
Is the housing policy the one supposed to address that?
Yes, of course, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So when you have a national master physical development plan, it is a basis. It's like a house. You get me? Then a policy is like a window, is like a door, is like a kamori, because it tells you that if it is a house, you will say the window or the door, it will be this size by this size. That's
Okay.
a policy. By window, it is this by this. But you a policy can't be there when the house is not yet there.
But
So
the policy
so
came after the house.
No, we don't. At the moment, if you don't have a national master physical development plan, then you don't have a house. That's a master physical. You see the word master means a master physical development plan, meaning that master meaning you are talking about all the land in Uganda. And every land is zoned of what's supposed to be, where we are supposed to use it. But like in Dubai, every square foot of land has a purpose as what must be put there.
Okay.
When you go to Singapore, every piece of land has a purpose of what's supposed to be there. So you can't simply come and put something that is supposed to be on the other side. How would you find a Chibanja in the middle of Kampala's capital city, and somebody that is putting a Chibanja and is rearing pigs in the middle of Mengo, where all those areas? Now, if those things exist, that tells you there is no policy. You get my point?
Okay.
Because a policy must be able to tell you that now there is a place specifically for residential. There is a place specifically for industry.
So,
there is a place specifically for commercial stuff.
So
and
what
they all
is in
coordinate.
our housing policy then?
At housing policy, that I'm saying, I say is, what can I say? Because it's not there. If it's there, then I don't know how it's there. Because a policy is a guideline.
Are you saying we need to review the housing policy
Must
and
first
work backwards?
This is what's supposed to be. The government must invest a lot of money, must give a lot of money to Ministry of Lands and Urban Development as number one. If all the money can be given to that ministry first, so that they do a national master physical development plan, then we start. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Because other ministries are doing nothing when there is no national master physical development plan. Because a national master physical development plan exposes the resources that are hidden. When a country has a national master physical development plan, it is always with a lot of resources. Actually, a national master physical development plan makes a country become rich, come from third world to first world. The moment you have a master physical development, you qualify, you are accelerating faster to become a first class, to become to join the first world. But without it, that's why everything is staccato. You keep on going backward.
How do we relate the national?
But now, when the national
policy
master physical development plan is addressed, meaning that all the land in Uganda is planned and is zoned. You getting me? Then the policies can start working in properly. Because you can't say somebody will know that this place is zoned for a wetland. Therefore, do not touch. This place is zoned for an industrial.
Are you saying the Lubiji incident would not have happened if we had a master physical development plan?
If there was a national master physical development plan, it would be able, first of saying, with the owner of the land, and the land is planned for what? You can't say it's a wetland, but there are other wetland. There is a wetland, Namav is a wetland, there is a wetland. So some people also stay in wetland elsewhere. So some people say, okay, if some other people are in wetland, even myself, I can also get a small thing. So by that perception makes people believe that anywhere you can go and stay anywhere and acquire and force yourself, whether it is someone's land or government's land, that's it. And remember, we are getting the culture, our old culture, whereby land, by our old culture, that to be able to own the land, it was a matter of finding land like that. You come and occupy it, and after occupying it, you say, this is where I am. Because all our grandfathers, that's how they acquired the land. Nobody bought land. They came, they found the land had nobody, they come and occupied. And that culture is
so how did they come up with titles?
Of course,
then?
You see what I'm saying, the culture government started bringing in a system of saying, once a place is gazetted as an urban center, you are supposed to have a title.
Okay.
And you are supposed to build according to that center. A municipality or a town council or that kind of stuff. You get my point? Now, in the village, if you have the land and you think you can go and you have your neighbors and you can say, I pass here, I pass there. You agree with the neighbor. You say, pass here, you pass there. So this becomes my land. Remember, he has not paid. He has not bought the land, but he has owned the land by occupying it. Are you getting my point?
Is that how even the squatters are thinking?
Yeah, the squatters have that mindset because squatters come from where? From the village. When they come to town, that's how they found things, and they think that. So, but if there is a national master physical development plan, which gives the information into people in town, urban centers, and also to people in the villages, so that people in the village, they know this how things work out, then all these mistakes wouldn't be there. But now, the mistakes, you find that Kajan's Town Council has their own plan, which they call a master physical development plan. Then you find Wakiso have their own plan. Then those are what we call staccato planning. They don't coordinate.
They are not communicating.
They can't communicate. So creating mistakes it is because of that vacuum that is creating very many problems. That vacuum, because it's there. So when you ask me the housing policy, if it's there, then maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't understand it. If I don't.
But Senior, you're the one with the biggest estate in the city. How can you not know about the housing?
Do you know the injuries I have on my body? What I have suffered because of lack of this kind of stuff. You think all this land, I simply came and occupied it, I got it here. First of all, the land acquisition was a problem. I have injuries. I paid the price. I talk with authority because I paid the price. Nobody in Uganda that has paid the price like me. I paid the price in land acquisition. I paid the price in making the thing approved. I may pay the price in sensitizing the people to appreciate even the product. I paid the price in the cost of construction. I paid the price by even the banks having no money to lend to build to developers.
Wow.
Even banks having no money to pay, to give to the people who are going to buy the properties as the mortgages.
Hold it there. Dear viewers, we are going to be back shortly. We are taking a brief break to come and talk about the land eviction. And where is the problem? How do we prevent these evictions in the future? Who is not doing what they are supposed to be doing? We'll be right back. Welcome back from that very brief break. Senior,
yes.
You know I love to call you Senior because you've really been around for some time and you're one of the pioneers of the industry. You were talking about the housing policy and the land policies, and as a developer, I don't think you're the only one who doesn't feel its effect. I keep asking myself, what is the housing policy supposed to do? And like you were explaining, without the master physical plan, it doesn't work.
Whatever is there is not complete.
But in the whole real estate sector, we are working backwards.
That's what I'm saying.
You remember even the real estate law is not around.
I know. So we are coming from very far. But what I'm trying to say is that for me, when I look at whatever is happening, I advocate that the National Master Physical Development Plan, government must give it the biggest priority so that it can be done quickly. Of course, it has been launched. Now the whole country is going to have one Master Physical Development Plan, which is the right, and that is the right direction. Once it's done, then it becomes easy, these good policies to come in and start galvanizing each other.
But what will happen, especially to like Kampala, which is already built up in its chaotic manner? Are we going to...
That Master Physical Development Plan, it is done by people who can come and study the situation as of today and as in the future. And also they incorporate whatever is there, the existing problem and existing situation, and also mitigate how best can we solve this. They also look at those solutions and they are put. So at the end of the day, once that one is done, then it becomes easy for us, everything to move very, very well. Take an example. Now the culture within every Ugandan whatever is that build your property, acquire land anywhere, anyhow, and build
your small property.
Build anything, you build anything, anywhere and anyhow. Those are the things. That's the mind. That's people how they
You find one person has a bungalow, the
another
other
one has
has
that
a...
one, another one has the kind of stuff. And that's the mindset. So that this one is a bigger problem. So now that's why for me, when you ask me as a person who has experienced all these things, is that people need to be sensitized because we are having culture which is pushing us backwards. We are still thinking in those whatever those old.
Are you saying we should all come to Arkwright or build an Arkwright of some sort?
Everybody can. But you see, what I'm trying to
because what's happening?
Yes.
People like Jomai, like Bakaima, and all these other estates are coming up. And subdividing land. That's what we've learned from the seniors.
That is okay. But also, the concept is not complete. Because the reason why they do that, that's the only thing they can do. What else can they do?
That's what they've learned.
That's
what you've taught us.
You see, for us, we manage to do what is possible with the existing situation and limitation and problems. Because those businesses, that's why those businesses don't exist for long. When people start, at times they don't, because of one, the infrastructure is very expensive. Two, the approvals, then the culture, then the what, all those things, when you put them together, it becomes a mountain of problems. But to go into that industry.
Back to what you were talking about, to do with planning and zoning.
Planning, zoning should be number one. And that's why I'm saying, the Ministry of Land, they say they don't have enough money. I agree with them. Really, they don't have enough. When you talk to physical planners, the government don't give them enough money. And yet the work they're supposed to handle is a lot. So I'm saying, the government should put a lot of money at physical planners and the Ministry of Lands and the Urban Development, so that they can complete that master physical development plan. And once that one is done, then the policy will be plugged in properly, and then
won't we need a whole new policy?
I think you see, some areas there are some good, but they don't plug well, they don't coordinate. I don't know whether you understand my point. Once that then is done, then those other things will be plugged in properly and they will be galvanized properly, and the policy now will become one policy. Then it can easily bite, it can easily direct, it can give an intellectual direction and skillful execution. But short of that, the whole thing, there is no intellectual direction, there is no skillful execution that you can follow and say this is the right thing. So that's why many problems, people are making a lot of mistakes. There's mistakes that are causing people to build in wrong places, to build substandard kind of stuff, to make all those things is a mess, as you can see. Yeah.
You heard of what happened recently in Lubiji?
Yes.
Your comments on that, and how do we avoid such?
My comment, that's why I'm starting from a National Master Physical Development Plan. If that one was there, then you can't build a house, anywhere, and anyhow. Those three things, you are getting me? But because there is no policy that's building anything as a house or whatever, anyhow and anywhere. I get my point. So it is through that, because it is in everybody's mindset.
But who is giving the permission to build in such places? Like, why wait for them to build then come to destroy?
This is why, you see, first of all, how would you manage if the thing is not coordinated, if the thing is not planned? If this staccato arrangement of going here, you know, some people are building here, others are doing it. So we firefight, we call them firefighting. That you cannot solve a problem like that. You solve a problem by just a policy. First of all, by sensitizing the people. People to appreciate, to learn. You give a lot of, you need to make sure you educate the people, you sensitize them, and they appreciate. And then you minimize the problem. Take an example like what happened with these people who were evicted.
In Lubigi.
To some extent, is that people should not build in anyhow, anywhere, in anything. You get me? Because NEMA is something very important, because whatever they do, it is all for us and for the whole world. You get me?
But these people are saying...
I'm coming to that. So in other words, we must avoid building or looking for land in a wetland, because we can even get land elsewhere where it's not in a wetland. Wetland, you must know a wetland is a wetland, and more especially areas which connect with Lake Victoria, where water goes through, and because those things filters the water that goes into Lake Victoria. So in other words, it is very important people must avoid encroaching the wetland or building in the wetland. But however, where I also have a problem with NEMA, or where I sympathize with these people, is that what NEMA would, if I was one of those people in the NEMA, or I was in charge of managing that kind of stuff, how would I have managed it better? For me, I would have done like this. I would have come and vetted the people who are in the wetland. Okay. Get their names, capture the houses they have, capture everything, make the plans, make everything. Then after that, then come, after getting their names, their blah, 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 then write them a letter, official letter, and give them as a notice. Then bring the red paint and put a red paint on their every building. Tap, 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 tap. I say, now you see, we are not going to come here to demolish. But the day we come to demolish, we actually demolish them at your own cost. Because these are poor people. So what you do, you don't demolish immediately like now. You just give them a notice, and you give it like a reasonable time, like for a poor person, you are getting me? You give him like 5 years. And you say, now when we come, we shall not compromise. So that these people take their time, because they are poor people. That is the only thing they have in their life. Much as it is a wrong place. Then you give them 5 years, then you demolish it, put with letters, with everything. First of all, you get data from them. And again, you study. And also, what has caused that thing to happen. So by the time you are going to come 5 years, of course, by 5 years, they will have removed their own thing. If they don't remove them, that is when you would come, and nobody would blame you. You are getting me? And these people, these poor people, they would have known what to do. Because now this is a poor person. He has been covering himself instead of going into that bush and stay in that bush. Now he has looked for something to cover over his head. And he doesn't have anywhere to get the money. Now when you come and even put that thing, then it becomes dangerous. Okay. Because these are desperate people. And they can do anything because they are dangerous.
In other
words,
what
they should have done is that they should be removed, but with a notice, also with being vetted, and also given time, and also given a way how they should live out. Because they are poor people. So
the vetting is for what? Why are you registering people that are being evicted?
Because when you vet them, you don't want them after removing them from that place, so that they can go somewhere, also to put another structure in that area. Because you are going to put them in a system that whenever they will found, they will come and say, wait, we chased you from the other place. Now you are here. So it becomes very easy. Such a person will be arrested or whatever. Are you get my point? Hey.
Okay. So how do we stop this from happening? Because when these people are constructing, some of those houses were actual houses. Are we saying that the enforcers of the law are not doing their job? Because how do these houses get constructed
when there is a
in
policy,
these places?
When there is a complete policy of housing, a housing complete policy, it will be homogeneous, and it will be very clear for anybody to build a house. You are supposed to have something there, blah, 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 blah. Any structure to come, you are supposed to have a plan. And then again, you are supposed to have a title.
Are we not having those laws in place already? Because we have the National Building Review Board.
I am saying the thing is not coordinated to the center. You see, laws are somewhere there, but they are not coordinated. Take an example. We have our town council here. They come up, they plan according to their council. For things that can develop their council. And they have a physical plan, and he plans according. But is that planning coordinated to the center? Is it coordinated to the Ministry of Lands? If you ask the chairman or the whatever in charge of all the planning for the country, does he know what is happening in those what in the Kajazi? He doesn't know. But you see, when you have a coordinated, a master physical development plan, with that policy I'm talking about, a well galvanized ground to stay policy, it will be able that whatever you do, it is known by the system. You get my point? It will be known by the system. Wow. And then it can be coordinated, if those people can plan accordingly to be able to stop it or whatever. Because enforcement to stop people doing wrong things It's very expensive. Very, very expensive.
How do these people get the titles anyway? Like the Lubigi incident, how did they get the titles?
You see,
How do they buy land?
you see, where there is darkness, where there is darkness, things happen.
Okay.
People, because first of all, to some extent, people say the land belongs to Kabaka. That's what they say. Other people say it is It is Uganda Land Commission. Now Uganda Land Commission gives the titles, and they have a right to give, because they say Uganda Land Commission that people, wherever you are, come to us, tell us that is where you are. We put coordinates on where you are, then we give you the title. That's the policy. I get my point. But again, there is all the plans, all land titles that were made during the colonial time, when they had not even visited where the place is. For them, they say, the coordinates say, there another one, then they take whatever is there in the middle. And they created a title called the mine. Now, this one now comes and gets a title under Uganda Land Commission, which is a lease by Uganda Land Commission. Now, at the end of the day, you find that the person who has a title, really is wrong. First of all, the landlord, the old landlord, or maybe Kabaka, maybe whatever they say, he has never come to meet the people to show them that he's the owner of that land by a mile. He has never come to visit them to see people who are on his land. So people assume that since there is nobody who declares himself here, the land belongs to the government, to the Uganda Land Commission. So I think we are right. I mean, we can apply for a title. And
thank you, Senior.
I get my point.
Thank you so much.
That darkness should be removed by those master physical development plan.
Yes. Thank you so much, Senior and Mr. Anatoli. It's always a pleasure to host you. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of this show. It's been nice hanging out with you. Hope you learned something today. See you next.